He was doing it for research. Do you guys even know what a milking table is? There I was on Reddit, looking at guns.
Yeah, because I want to hear it. That doesn't sound bad at all.
No, it's pretty nice.
God damn.
Your audio come in.
Vance with Vbd-Retail here, and today we are talking about new for 2025, the B&T X-H series suppressors. So these are their B&T SRBS-H, which means hybrid suppressor. So what these are, basically the SRBS, as many know it, it's gone through a few iterations over time, two different models from last year, starting at the slab sides and then moving to the Print X. Well, the SRBS had one suppressor of the year, so congratulations, guys. But unlike many companies, they don't just take that winning and stop there. They're constantly trying to improve on stuff. And this is where the new XH series comes into play. Now, I was a little weary about this thing at first, mostly because the H means hybrid, which means this is a titanium and Inconel hybrid suppressor. If you know anything about me, or we've talked in the past, I, for a very long time, have been against titanium for duty style kind of rifles. Basically, if you like mag dumping into trash and getting your stuff hot, I've never really recommended titanium. The issues with titanium have always been if you overheat it and let it cool, it can start to get brittle over time, basically redlining your suppressor and destroying it. So when they said that they were coming out with a hybrid, I was extremely disappointed at first. But we're here because we want to know what good suppressors are and find out what suppressors are the best. So we got these XH series suppressors and we gave them a go. So starting off, what makes this XH different than the SRBS in general? So right off the bat, we do have two different style end caps, and you'll also notice that the full size is now a hair longer than what the original Inconel or titanium SRBS was. And if you look down the bore, you'll also see there's a slight change in the baffle geometry. Now, I haven't gone into the very middle and checked it out, but the XH series has a baffle that seems more like it has the Rotex style star in front of what the SRBS, and I'll just call it donut, is. And you can see right there the difference between those two. So while these share the same name, there's obviously some differences in here. It's not just like we made a titanium tube and then slapped an Inconel baffle in it, called it a whole brand new thing. Now, with me being a naysayer on titanium, right, the only thing that we could really do is see, can this titanium hold up like Inconel? So we decided to torture test one of these things. We pushed this thing farther than any suppressor should realistically even go. With a full battle loadout being 210 rounds on average, I can't see somebody really running into a situation where they'd immediately have to dump all of that all at once. But people like to see things blow up. People like to know their limits. So what we did was we ran 330 rounds cyclic through this thing. Then we let it cool all the way down to air temp. It was about 15 degrees out maybe. So we kind of shocked it there, cool to the touch, put it back on the gun, and ran another 299 rounds through it. Now, as you can see from that clip, we only ran another 299 rounds because we melted the gun itself.
Holy shit, she survived.
Oh, the gas tube didn't.
Oh, the gas tube didn't. Was that right on the
The gas tube just kind of melted and curled around the side, and then the barrel drooped about a 1/4 inch. We even had handguard marks inside of the tripod. They're forever melded in there, so that tripod's going to have a really great grip on a quad rail moving forward. Otherwise, I'm sorry, we borrowed a tripod from a friend. So we reached out to B&T afterwards. We told them this, and we asked some questions, and we had found out that these X-H series suppressors, in general, they tested on their own a lot more than what we did, and they got these things to survive 95 Socom surge cycles. If you aren't aware what a Socom surge cycle is, you can look it up. But 8 mags is going to be 1 cycle, and you're shooting semi for a mag with like a second in between, then hammered pairs, bursts, and eventually ripping full auto until this thing is cherry hot. All 8 mags have gone through. You let it cool all the way to air temp. You do that again. Now Socom, before they even consider looking at a suppressor, they want it to survive, I believe, 6 tests. And for the longest time, 7 to 10 is amazing. I mean, it still is to have a suppressor survive 7 cycles, 8, 9, 10. That's a lot of abuse in a very short amount of time. Whereas this survived 95. That's over 22,000 rounds of pure abuse, just redlining it as much as possible. After hearing that, after seeing what we did, I really don't think that durability is going to be anything that you have to question about these. Next, let's talk about weight. Why weight? Well, why titanium? They're trying to lighten these things up, right? When they first came out with the slab sides, now this is a Rotex 3, but you remember the slab sides had no pattern on it. They were all Inconel, pretty dang light, and, you know, people liked them, but B&T's constantly just tweaking and pushing, and that's a good product, make it better. So they came out with these Print X series. The perks of the Print X series was that you got a better sound performance, a better flash reduction. Some people didn't really care for the pattern, they liked the raw one, but whatever. But a downside was you started adding weight. As they changed this design from the slab sides, they added a couple ounces. And it put people kind of in a weird spot, you know, do I want the lighter weight or do I want the better performance? People really are concerned about weight. And it sounds like they listened. I know I sent a lot of emails because now we have this series where the compact comes in at 9 ounces all by itself, and the full size comes in at 11 ounces total. Now, if you don't really know, you know, it's 9 ounces off the hip. A Gen 2 PMag with 10 rounds of 5.56 ammo in it is going to be 9 ounces. If you put 5 more rounds in it, you're going to be at 11. So if you go home, take one of your previous suppressors, pick it up, then half load a PMag and pick that up, you're going to get a reaction just like this guy.
RBS. New model. Oh. RBS.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get.
So, girth.
Because that is insanely light, and probably why we didn't believe that these things were going to hold up to the abuse that they claimed. But it did. We covered durability. We covered weight. We always get asked about flash. we did a flash test. We wanted to find out exactly how well these things are and how they compare, especially because you're adding titanium into the mix. You can see what the results are there. Basically, the full size, you get a little bit of first round pop, and that's it. It is virtually nothing. Now, when it comes to the compacts, the Inconel model still got a little bit coming out of there. You're starting to lose some length, and you're sacrificing that, length for a little bit more flash, a little bit more noise, which we'll hit on. As for the compact SRBS, we also got some sparks coming out of it. That's where you could really see a little bit of that tie into the mix. Now, my personal opinion, bouncing between these two, I noticed with the Inconel models, when you see flash, it's one kind of tight ball, bright, right there. Where at first glance with these tie models, you might think, wow, that gets pretty wide. But it's not just one giant ball of flash, it's just like 12, 13 little sparks that kind of quickly go out. So I took a little shot at distance to show you how that looked from 10 yards away. As you can see, it's pretty hard to see that from even 10 yards away, but we're always putting the camera right up in front of it, and if we're being realistic, besides the guy behind the rifle, if you're that close and you're looking for flash, there's bigger problems. So if you're worried about anybody downrange, that's not going to be an issue. And if you're worried about your nods and whatnot, they're going to be fine. But either way, full size, flash, don't worry about it. Nothing at all. When you start getting into the compact size, you're going to have to sacrifice and get a little bit more of that flash coming out of there. That being said, we typically do have the time to burn and break in a suppressor, any suppressor coming from the factory. There's going to be residues, cutting fluid, oils, little pieces and flakes of metal. And typically we like to burn out. We'll just dump 90 rounds through it, get it cooking, let it come back and shoot it. We just got these earlier today after doing this test, and we wanted to send some more on these and see what the worst case scenario is. So on that 13.9 rifle, what you're seeing there is what it's going to look like out of the box, and over time that can only diminish lower and lower and lower. So keep that in mind. Next up, very big important one of my big topics when it comes to suppressors: sound. There is a noticeable difference between the Inconel model from 2024 and the new X-H series full size. If you closed your eyes, you would actually think that they're completely different suppressors, and this thing just has a more pleasant, quieter, softer tone to it than what was already making a 5.56 rifle sound like a paintball gun. As for the compacts, there wasn't too much of a difference sound-wise. What we shoot everything on short-barreled rifles anyway, so maybe if you go to a longer barrel, that's going to be more of a difference. But when it came to sound on a 13.9, 12.5, 10.3, if you were to close your eyes and stand off to the side, listen to both of these, I think you'd be a little bit hard-pressed to tell which one is which. And that's okay. But just something to think about. If you have a compact or you've heard a compact, the new X-H compact is going to be very, very similar sounding to that suppressor. So my thoughts on this X-H series in general. I was blown away. This advancement in technology has gotten me to flip from reduced back pressure suppressors are always going to be loud. The SRBS Print X proved that wrong. Then I always thought the titanium duty guns, hard use, really hammering down, they just don't mesh well. And you know, you'll see most companies won't even list them as full auto rated or limited full auto rated. But this design has such a low back pressure, it only increases bolt speed by 1.9%, that even if you cook and cool and cook and cool and start to make this titanium become more and more and more brittle over time, you're just not getting enough pressure buildup that it's going to damage it. It's just able to handle it. It's overbuilt, and still weighing only 11 and 9 ounces while doing it. It is absolutely fantastic for that purpose. My personal thought on this is, I mean, if this thing took Suppressor of the Year and by the time they got it, they already had a new one design drawn up, ready to go. I think this is going to put a lot of pressure on the market. I think there's going to be there's going to be a race. Other companies are just going to have to keep pushing. And I love that thought. Rather than the get a suppressor, it works well, and then stick with it for a while, and every couple of years come out with something new. If you want to compete, you just can't do that. You gotta just keep on, like, this is good, let's make it better, let's make it better, let's make it better. So it's very exciting to see this come out, and it's really cool to be able to say, I was wrong. Titanium can be durable, and reduced back pressure suppressors can be quiet. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, share this thing around, whatever. The more people that watch, the more we get to go test stuff out, try stuff out, see. I get better at trying to make these videos and make them more interesting. We get the opportunity to buy a bunch of ammo and completely destroy a whole firearm in the name of science. I really do appreciate all of your support, everybody watching here. You've got questions, you know, put them below in the comments. And yeah, I mean, we're just looking forward to see what comes next. We'll make a report back over time. I'm very curious to see if these tame down with those little bits of sparks over time. Maybe they just got to be broken in. Maybe that's just a forever titanium thing. I haven't used enough titanium to really get to that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Oh, let me see.
Down and up. It never
Hold on.
blew.
Get a high shot.
Hold on.
Oh my god.
What the?
Oh.
The Harris is taking some heat.
We
too.
have completely melted and draped the gas tube. This is...
Hey, everyone back up. Everyone back up. Back up.
And the suppressor survived. The gas tube has draped down around the barrel. I call that a win. You think that's a win?
I don't think we need to continue.
I don't think we can continue. Actually, can we pop around in there and see if it still shoots?
Yeah, one round.
Yeah, see if one round will fire.